So let's talk about what do we gain when we make these attachments. Now, I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but over time, we began to attach or allow ourselves to be attached to because there's something that we're getting from it, right? So what do we gain? And I brought to us some archetypes to look at. This is who I thought I'd had to be in order to whatever, to be loved or whatever, right? So an archetype, the child, fears responsibility, longs for protection, right? Anybody show up as a child in their adult life? New development. New development for me, right? And because we are looking for something, so we are willing to compromise some sense of freedom. Freedom is equated to power. Freedom is equated to power. Freedom is equated to our own identity, right? So we're willing to compromise some sense of freedom because we are looking to receive something, get something from someone else. So what do we gain when we make these attachments? The victim believes power is always outside of her, telling the story that I can't do this, or this always happens to me, or I had no control over that, or whatever the case might be. Anybody been a victim in their story? Yeah. I think all of these apply to me. Yeah. Right? And so when we decide that we rather play ourselves down instead of be in the full power of ourselves, we are compromising a sense of freedom because your soul is going to react to that. Your soul is a queen, is a priestess, is a whatever. It's elevated. So when you are playing it down, your body is compromised. Your spirit is compromised somehow, whether it comes out in disease or illness or whatever. There is no gray area when it comes to the compromise that we make when our spirit and our soul, right? So when we decide, I'm going to play this person, the child, the victim. I'm going to give this example. It's not quite on point, but I love to give this example about Drea. So no, it's okay. It's not nothing horrible. So when I like to talk about how our bodies respond to this lack of integrity that we have. The lack of integrity is the alignment with our spirit itself, our soul, right? When we know that we're supposed to be operating from our highest version of ourselves and we choose to go low, right? We choose to operate from a low space. She had a job that she did sales for, and the company was very sketchy about how they dealt with their customers. And they would often disregard the fact that they paid this astronomical amount for the service and wouldn't want to reimburse them if the service wasn't legit. So took all this money, but, and she was responsible for asking for that money back. Telling them they couldn't get their money back. I'm talking like a lot of money. She was responsible for telling them they couldn't get their money back when she knew everything in her that it was wrong. This woman's lip would swell up every single time, literally swell up. And it got to the point where it was like, I can't do this. I'm physically impaired by doing this, right? Some of us have gotten really good that we can ignore the signs. We try to ignore the signs. It shows up in other ways, but we're really good about suppressing it. But this one, whole face would swell up. No, the lip would swell up. So it's the body knows when we are not operating from our highest self, when we are compromising ourselves. So we're looking at these archetypes. The prostitute trades authenticity for approval or security. Now, this is typically what we experience with work. Someone who works a job and they are not happy there, but it's security. And they are basically doing the work because of, it can be in relationships as well. But ultimately, the prostitute trades their authenticity for approval or security. This eats away at you as well. And the saboteur disrupts progress because success feels unsafe or unfamiliar. How many of us have been the saboteur? Saboteur, yeah. Quite a bit, right? And so, and that's sometimes defined as, what is that very common phrase? What is it called when we show up one way and we feel like we're not supposed to be there? imposter syndrome. Right? So sometimes when we have experienced that imposter syndrome, then we will sabotage everything because we're just like, I'm not meant to do this. It's not meant for me. It's too big for me. So we don't banish these archetypes. We bring them to light so that they stop running the show. That was so powerful for me because lately I have identified quite a bit with the child. And what I've learned was that in understanding that when we allow this other part of us to take the lead, to take the driver's wheel, that is what we are relinquishing control, we're relinquishing power, therefore foregoing our freedom. But when we decide, I don't need you anymore to drive this, I've got it from here, that is the objective, is to operate from that highest and elevated self